Hello everyone, so you're welcome to another session. We shall continue from the last time. So the last time we spoke about hide and seek project, and we intend to bring 5 backdrops: the welcome backdrop, the instruction backdrop, the main backdrop, the winner backdrop, the try again backdrop. We also intend to involve 2 sprites, the start button and the character, a sound. We intend to add some sound to the program, and then we are going to involve 2 variables. So without much ado, let me go and load the file I saved from the last time. So you do that by clicking on file, you go to load from your computer, and then okay, so what we did the last time is this hide and seek, and then I open. Good. So this was where we are. We brought 5 backdrops onto our stage. We gave the name the welcome backdrop, the instruction backdrop, the main backdrop, the congratulation backdrop, and the try again backdrop. Okay, so let's start. Wow. Okay, so we still have it on touch. Now let's write the code for the backdrop. So in every event, we always start with when green flag clicked. So I'll drag the when green flag click to the sprite area. Then I want to start with my backdrop. So I will start with my welcome backdrop. Now my welcome backdrop, I expect it to stay long for about 5 seconds. And so I have brought the wait 1 second, which is under the control block. And then I'm coming to edit it, and then I'll write 5 there. So after it has stayed on for 5 seconds, then I want it to switch back to the instruction backdrop. And under this instruction backdrop, that is where there will be a trigger for the next level. So remember, we have set the backdrops in motion. So now we are going to bring our sprite. So I've written these 2 codes. When green flag clicked, switch backdrop to the welcome backdrop, wait 5 seconds, switch backdrop to the instruction backdrop. Good. So I am going to bring a sprite. So the first sprite I'll bring is my button. Why am I bringing the button? I am bringing it because I want it to trigger an event for me. So I am going to pull my button down here. Now remember, the button is selected here, and so whatever code I'll write here is for the button. So first I'm going to edit the button. So I'll go to the costumes of the button. Now the intention is that I want to make the button somehow alive, so that whenever it pops up, the user or the player of my game will know that, okay, this button here is alive, and so it has to do something. So I'm going to write on my button. Now you can remember I said before you work on any object here, before you write on something here, you should always make sure it is in the vector mode. So because it is in the vector mode, I have the option here to say, telling me to convert it to bitmap. So I'm going to write on it. Now I've clicked on text. Text is where you write on something. So I'm going to take a color. Okay, so let me use that. Now I want to write here. Okay, let me write start. Okay, so I'll click on select so that I can be able to move it around. So start is here. Okay, so start is being selected, so I'm going to copy it, go to the other costume of the button, and then I'll paste. Okay, so I have start on the button. Good. Now I'm going to write code for my button. Now remember, when I click on the green flag, it starts with the welcome BG. It stays for 5 seconds, then it switches to this. And because of that, I don't want the start to appear once the welcome BG is showing, the welcome background is showing. So I will go to events, then I will go to the option when backdrop switches to welcome BD. Now this button should hide. Yes, I want it to hide. Now I'll go back to event. When this backdrop switches to the second one, instruction baby. Now I want this button. Can you see the current location that the button is? Should it be there? Okay, so I want it to be somewhere here. Okay, so this is the current location. This is the X value. This is the Y value. So now I'll go to motion blocks. Then I'll bring go to, which is currently having the current location of the sprite, the X value and the Y value. Now I am at go to. Then I want the button to show. So I will go to looks, and then when I scroll down, I will see show. Yes, now when it shows, I want it to animate. So how can it animate? It can animate by switching costumes. So you know my button is having two costumes, right? A blue color and an orange color. So I want it to switch costumes, and the costume should be switching continuously. So now I'll come and click on the control button, the control block, where I can find repeat or forever and others. So I'll bring the forever here. Then I'll go to looks, where I want to change the way my button looks. So I have a code here that says next costume. So I'll drag this next costume and fix it inside my forever. Now when this next costume is inside my forever, watch what happens. When I click here, can you see that the button is just switching colors very fast? Okay, so I don't want it to switch colors very fast, so I'm going to stop whatever is running now. Then I would go to control and bring some wait time in there. So I'm going to bring the wait time, and this is the wait time. So I'll try and make it lesser than a second so that it will somehow be alive and active. So I've written 0.3 in the wait time. So I think when I click on it, now you can see how it is switching. Good. Okay, so let me stop that. Now we are moving to the next step. So when you click on the green flag, the hide and seek shows up with my name. Then after 5 seconds, it switches to this instruction page where this button is showing. The next thing is that I want to click on this button. And when I click on this button, then we go to the main page. So I'll stop this. Then I'll go to event. Now under event, I am going to select when sprites clicked. Okay, so this is a block on its own. I am just rearranging so that I can tidy up the arrangement of my codes. Okay, so when sprites click. So when this sprite is clicked, what should happen? Good. So when the sprite is clicked, I want my sprite to hide. So when the sprite is blinking and you go and click on it, I want it to hide. Now when it hides, what comes next? I want the backdrop to be switched to the backdrop that will allow the game to start. So which backdrop? The main backdrop. Good. So it means whenever I click on this start button, the button hides and then the backdrop switches to the third backdrop, which is the main backdrop. Now, at this point, I want to invoke my variables. So I'm not going to write the variable for this code. I will go to the stage. Good. I'll go to the stage. Now I am on the stage. This was the code I wrote for the stage. So I'm going to initiate some few things. Now this backdrop switches to this. Now I am going to add the event when the backdrop switches to the main. Okay, let me send this away first. Now I spoke about some variables. So we have a score variable and a timer variable. I'm writing the variables for the backdrop because the backdrop is the main page where all the sprites work. So when I write it for the backdrop or the stage, all the sprites can have access to it. Good. So I'll go to variables. Now I'm going to create a variable for score and a variable for timer or countdown. So the first variable score. Okay, good. Score is appearing here, same as here. It is showing here because it has been ticked. If I take the tick off, it's not showing anymore. Good. I'm going to make another variable, and this one is going to be countdown. Whoa. And so countdown is here. It's also showing, but I'm going to hide it for now. Okay, now at this stage I am going to set my countdown to let's start with 30. So it's going to count. I don't know how often it will count. It can count every 2 seconds or it can count every 1 second. I don't know. So we are going to set that later. So I've set my countdown to start with 30. Okay, now I'm going to set my score also. Now my score, I'm selecting here and then I'll choose score. Now my score will start from 0. So I have a countdown, I have a score, but they are not showing yet. I hope you can see that. Okay, now I'm going to the button. Now when this button is clicked, I want my variables to show. So the button will then be hidden and then the backdrop will switch to the main backdrop and then the countdown variable shows, and I'm going to bring the variable for the score, so that one will also show. So meaning it is this button that will trigger the countdown and the variable to show at the top here. Are we good? Good. Now let me go and bring the second character, which is our Gobo. So I'll go here and type so that we can arrive at it well. So this is Gobo. And now this is Gobo. You can all see Gobo, right? Good. So whatever code I'm coming to write here is for Gobo. Now when I click on green flag, let's watch something. When I click on green flag, can you see the Gobo is showing? It's not supposed to show from the first page. Now it comes to the instruction page, the Gobo is not supposed to show. So the Gobo will only show after I have clicked on start, and then the Gobo can show now. Oh, okay. So this and this are there. So let me put this here. Good. Let me start over again. So I click on the green flag. This is not supposed to be here. You can see that, right? The variables are not supposed to be here. So then I'll go back to my stage. Let me stop running the code. I'll go back to my stage. Now I have set my variables to be here. Now I'm going to hide them. So when green flag is clicked, I want my variables to be hidden. So I'll drag this to the top here and drag this also to the top here, and then I'll choose score for this. So hide variable countdown, so this variable will be hidden. Hide variable score, this variable will be hidden. Good. So when I click on my green flag, I expect those variables to be hidden, yet the backdrop is here. Now this is also here, the variable is hidden. So until I click here, then my variables can show, then my Gobo must also show. So I'm going to stop running. Now we are going to fix codes for the Gobo so that the character, so that it will hide, and when it hides, it will show at the first time that it's supposed to show. Okay, so without wasting much time, I'll go to events. Okay, so the events, when the backdrop switches to the welcome, when the backdrop switches to welcome backdrop, please hide. Now I want to repeat similar code, so I'll right click here, duplicate the whole code and click here. Now I'm going to change this welcome backdrop to the instruction. Can you see? So it is hidden. So when the backdrop switches to instruction backdrop, it should also hide. Same way, I'm going to duplicate again. Now this one, when it switches to the main backdrop, it should do what? It should show. So when it shows, now we are going to set our game in motion, because when Gobo shows and the backdrop is exactly as you can see it now, Gobo will now hiding and showing. So when it hides, we'll be seeking it. When it shows, and then we'll move the pointer to click on it to get score. When it hides, we'll be waiting for it. When it shows, okay. So I'll end here in this session, and then I'll continue in the next session. Thank you. Don't forget to like the video.